Alright boys, so today I'm going to tell you guys the story about how I got this Surron light bee right here next to me and how I paid $0 for this bee right here. We're only on 80% today guys, so we're going to have to see if this battery lasts for the ride. But nonetheless, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be telling you the story about how I got this Surron right here. So get some popcorn, sit back, relax, and hear the story about basically how I got this Surron. The way that I got this Surron right here for $0 is a very long story, and one that some might say, hey, and some might say is even made up because of how crazy the story is. So, I'm gonna ride the Surron around the city for a little bit, tell you guys the story, and hopefully the audio turns out okay enough to post it. We'll just go through here. And then we'll roll with the shots. But basically, the way that I even got into this Surron is because my best friend Julian owns Drift 8, which is a company that basically makes the front plates that you saw on some of the videos that I just showed you guys. And so obviously, because you know he was into the Surrons, I started getting into them, and then from there it was just a trickle of my friends getting them. So a couple of my friends got Surrons. Specifically, my homie had the XXX Talaria. So I wanted an e-bike, but personally, the XXX Talaria was a bit small for my liking, like the actual frame. And so that's why I ended up getting the Surron, was because the frame is a little bit bigger. And yeah, I think the Surron just looks better than the Talaria. So that's how I got into it. So basically, I was following a whole bunch of, Surron kids and getting to know the community a little bit better. I started doing research, and I come from a family that does a lot of dirt bike riding. So, I grew up riding dirt bikes. I had a 110, a 150, and then I currently ride a 450. So, that's a big bike. And I didn't want to settle for something like small just because my friends had it. So I kept telling my friend that owns the company, I said, dude, I really want the Surron, but it's expensive, they're $4,500, and I didn't want to settle for the XXX, which was $3,500, even though it was less. And so I told him, like, dude, just wait, like, I'm gonna get it, like, just wait, And so the part that I said about me basically, following a whole bunch of Surron kids comes into play because one day, and this was recent, this was maybe like months ago, like I haven't had this thing for a long time. And so I'm scrolling through reels, scrolling through stories on Instagram, and one guy that I follow that has a Surron, he posts that, basically his homie is getting rid of the Surron, and if anybody is interested in doing a trade or buying it out, And so I was like, no way. And could you believe that the kid that was wanting to do the trade for this Surron was literally requesting a trade for specifically the 150 that I had on offer up for months. Now keep in mind, this CRF 150, it was, it was in fire shape. Like, it was super, super good shape. And look, those are the XXXs I'm talking about. It was in good shape, the 150. But that's what he wanted to trade. He was like, I'm looking to sell my Surron or trade it for a CRF 150. And I was, selling my 150, and so it worked out perfect. Hold on. What's going on, boys?
Who's this? That's Julian?
No, I'm not Julian. I'm the homie, Beto.
Oh,
How you guys doing?
good.
Fuck yeah.
We're gonna go to the jumps right now.
Where at?
Over there in the Hatter.
Oh, word. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time, big dogs.
Yeah.
Ride safe. They said they're going to the gym. I don't know where that is. So he actually thought I was the homie Julian, the one that I'm telling you about. The one that owns the company for the front plates. So anyways, back to the story. So this kid, I see this post and I'm like, no way. Like, I'm literally about to get a Surron. I'm gonna trade the 150 that I'm trying to sell for the Surron. And so I hit him up. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm literally trying to sell the 150 if your homie wants to do the trade for his Surron. He's like, yeah, bro, he's down. So I call up my homie Julian. I'm like, yo, Julian, this kid, he freaking wants to trade his Surron for my 150. Are you down to go with me to his house tomorrow? Because, you know, the kid, he said that he was down to trade. So I was like, all right, like, let's do it tomorrow, you know? And so basically, yeah, so that's what happened. I was like, yo, Julian, come with me to San Diego because the kid's house is in San Diego. And I was like, come with me since you know more about Surrons and you could tell me if it's worth the trade or not, you know, like if the Surron is clapped out. He was like, yeah, bro, I'm down. So here comes the next day. I'm all like, you know, ready, right? Like, I'm like, no way I'm about to get a Surron, like, without paying anything. I was like, literally, it's meant to be. Like, I've been waiting this whole time, you know, like, I didn't want to spend money because they're so expensive. And so the day comes, I meet up with the homie Julian in the morning, and we're on our way. It's like 2 hours to get there. So we're going, right? And I'm texting this kid, and I'm not even texting the kid that wants to do the trade. I'm texting his homie, the homie that posted on his story. I'm like, hey, bro, me and the homie are on our way, and, you know, like, we're about to get there, like, in 30 minutes. And so he's like, bro, you know, the homie's mom is tripping, this, and that. And I'm like, that's all he says. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, we're already like an hour 30 into the drive. We got like 20 minutes left to get to the kid's house. So I'm like, all right, bro, like, you know, no worries. We're just going to show up and, you know, see what happens. Like, we already drove this far and homie agreed to it in the first place, you know? And keep in mind, these kids, like, they're like in like high school, maybe like sophomores or like freshmen or something. And they're like, you know, I'm not racist, but they're just white kids. There's nothing racist about saying that. They're just white kids. And so basically this kid on DM, he's like, nah, bro, my homie's mom is tripping. She doesn't want you guys to come. She already said no. But you know, I'm gonna try to work it out. Like I guess he said like his homie's mom like always ends up saying yes or something like that. So, you know, me being me, I'm not trying to be pushy, but also I already drove almost 2 hours to do a trade that this kid told me was for sure. And so basically I'm like, all right, bro, I'm gonna just pull up, like, see what homie's mom says. If it's a no, it's a no, you know, I'm not gonna push it, but I'm gonna at least show up because I already drove all this way. And you guys said that, you know, it's gonna be okay for us to do the trade, you know, just like check it out. Because we had agreed that I would check out the Surron and he would check out the 150. And, you know, keep in mind also, I have way more to lose because the 150 comes with like a title, you know, like it's like something that you own versus like a Surron. You can't register a Surron. Like it's like a ghost almost. It's like a ghost bike. And so basically, that's kind of cool actually. So basically what ended up happening was I showed up and the two kids come out. And so the kid's name that was selling it, his name is Rocco, and he comes out and immediately I guess me and his mom had gotten there at the same time. And so we get there at the same time. She gets out of the car and she's like, like, I already said no. I already told Rocco to tell you guys no. Like, I'm sorry, like, you know, for wasting your time, this and that. And so I'm like, oh no, like, you know, I totally understand. I'm not even trying to be pushy. If it's a no, no worries. Like, I'll leave, this and that. And then so the kid Rocco, he's like basically like telling me like to wait, because I'm like, all right, well, you know, if it's a no, it's a no, whatever. Like, because he kept saying like, no, bro, wait, like I'm gonna convince her, like I just need some time, this and that. And he just was not like trying to let me go, like not like he was like keeping me captive, you know, but like he was like, bro, I can make it work. And so whatever, I was like, all right, bro, like just don't waste my time, you know, like I drove a long time, and if you're saying it's whatever, she's gonna say yes, then I'll wait a little bit. So that's what I did. I waited, me and the homie waited, and after actually checking out the Surron was clapped. Like, this kid Rocco had blown out the shocks. Thank you, bro. He had blown out the shocks. He was missing a whole bunch of like bolts. What else? Both rims were bent. The tires had no tread. It was insane, dude. Like the screen, that's why I have no screen. That's why I have a screen delete actually, is because his screen was like just cracked. You couldn't even see it. And then this right here, this button, I had to replace to put into sport and like eco. I had to replace that because it was literally cracked. It was just hanging off. So, you know, there was a lot of things wrong with the bike. And so we were basically just like waiting there, and we ended up in his garage, which I'll actually put a clip of when we were in his garage because it was so funny. Like, we were in his garage literally like lifting weights while he was inside of the house arguing with his mom, like trying to convince the mom to say yes because she was already saying no and this and that. And so then this is the part where it gets funny, which I mean that in no disrespect. It was just funny because, you know, like the situation had escalated so quickly, so fast, that we just didn't expect any of this to happen. So we're in the garage, and then here comes the brother, which the brother actually had a scat pack. He was super cool. That, like, the brother was super, super sick. And so the brother comes down and he's like, no, Rocco, mom already said no. If you get this, you're going to go back to jail tomorrow. You're not even going to last a day, this and that. And so this is when we basically learned that this kid Rocco had just gotten out of juvie after being in there for like a half year because he was riding this Surron drunk, and basically he got into like a cop chase, and he ran into like 3 or 4 cops, like straight ran into the police officer, the people, not the car, and got like a DUI, a felony, all these charges because obviously he's underage. And so whatever, he had just gotten out of juvie that day. And so I was like, no way, like what are the chances, you know, like literally what are the chances that like he is gonna like pull this off and like have his mom say yes? And so whatever, that's what the brother says. He's like, no, Rocco, don't do it, you're gonna go back to jail. So the guy gets there. It's pretty cold out here, by the way. Like, you can't even tell, but it's really cold. And I have gloves on, I have a shiesty and everything. Rocco comes down, which is the kid. He comes down and he's like, hey, do you mind if I take a picture of your ID? Because, you know, my mom is kind of sketch. Which is funny because at the time we went in my friend's truck, and then we just had the 150 in the back of the truck, you know, like in the bed of the truck. And my friend's truck is like an old Tacoma, like literally it's old. It didn't look good. It looked kind of like messed up. So, you know, this mom's probably thinking that like their dirt bike is like stolen or something, and she doesn't really know like what to do, like the process. And so she's all sketched out, and she didn't want to say it. Hold up. She didn't want to say it, and so that's why the kid came out and told me that. And so I was like, yeah, of course, like I have the title and everything. Like I had the title on hand, and I was like, I'm not trying to scam or anything. Like I'm trying to do something legit, you know? And so, you know, like a bill of sale and everything. And so I was like, yeah, I got you. Like, you know, I have the title. Tell her I have the title. You know, I'm trying to do a bill of sale legit. Like, either way, she's going to have to take a picture of my ID. And, you know, that's it. Like, I'm not trying to be sketch. And I was like, plus, like, I have a pretty big following on Instagram. I wouldn't want to, like, jeopardize, you know, my reputation for something so dumb. Like, I'm trying to do this legit. I'm not trying to scam you guys. And so he was like, all right. So then finally the mom comes down and she kind of, you know, starts listening to me, the whole process. And then she's like, no, like, I'm going to have to call his dad because I guess they were divorced parents. And she was like, no, I'm going to have to call his dad because I don't really know much, and you know, he knows more about this stuff. And I was like, okay, like, all right, like, you know, when am I gonna say no? Because then like the deal's gonna be off. So whatever, we waited more. Finally, the dad gets there in a big dually truck, and he pulls up all mad, and he pulls up into the driveway sideways, you know, like gangster style. And he walks up the driveway into the garage, and we're right there. And first thing that he says, he goes, "So what? Is this motorcycle stolen or what?" And I'm literally there with like the pink slip in my hand. Or sorry, not the pink slip, the title in my hand. And so I'm like, oh, hold on. I'm like, I don't know like what's going on here, but I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but you know, all I'm trying to do is a trade. Your son is trying to trade his Surron for my 150. My 150 is in great condition. His Surron is not. You know, I'm obviously going to have to put some work into it, which your son is not going to have to at all. Like, the dirt bike was freshly tuned. It was like, everything was good. And so I'm like, I have the title right here. The motorcycle is not stolen. I was like, I don't know, like, where you got that from, but that's it. Like, I'm just trying to make a fair trade. And your wife doesn't know what to do because she's a bit confused on the process. I was like, I have a bill of sale. I was like, I already wrote it out, everything, the price. And I was like, all you have to do is sign, and I give you the title. You have to go register it under your name, and then that's it. I don't have to do anything on my end because you don't register these things. And so he was like, yeah. He was like, that sounds like a good deal. Like, sign it. And then boom, he started leaving. And so, oh, so hold on. I missed a part. So before all that happens, this dad, he walks up the driveway, and Rocco's right there. And it was like the driveway to like the garage, and then inside the garage, you know, you have the door that goes inside of the house. So this dad, he basically walks up to Rocco, and he's like, "Rocco, what did I tell you about cussing at your mom? I'm gonna F you up, I'm gonna beat your ass, and this and that." And I'm all like, oh shit, like, goddamn. So basically the dad, you know, like makes the kid back up all up in his face into the house. So then that's when he comes out into the garage, and he's like, oh, what? Is this bike stolen? And this and that. And that's when I basically told him. So yeah, that's what happened. Whatever, she ended up signing, and you know, she understood that her son was kind of getting a good deal because he was. And yeah, like, that's about it. I went along my way. I did my own thing, you know, obviously. Oh, this is all wet. No. 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 This is all wet, bro. I just noticed. No. I literally have dirt on me. So we're gonna rewind it back a little bit. We were talking about, oh yeah, so basically the mom signed, and it doesn't even stop there. I swear to God, it does not stop there. So the mom signs, and oh, look at the biker. Hey!
Yo,
How's it going, bro?
you on the freeway?
Nah. There's like a little trail right here. Like literally right here. Like a little dirt trail, like 8.
Yeah, that's the Surron?
Yeah, it's a Surron.
That's it.
What is this?
That's it.
R6? Fuck yeah.
That's not, no, it's a G, it's 600.
Oh, word? Oh. So we leave, and the biggest thing that the mom wanted the son not to do was basically ride it, like on the street. He was like, no, mom, if I get it, I'm not gonna ride it on the street. I'm just gonna ride it on like the trails around here. And she was like, bullshit, Rocco, like you're gonna ride it on the street and do wheelies and this and that, because he was one of those kids to do like wheelie combos, you know, like the Surron. That's what you got a Surron for, is literally just to do like wheelies and shit. And so Yeah, basically, that was the deal that he made with his mom. We left the house with the Surron, me and the homie. We go to In-N-Out, we eat, and then while we're at In-N-Out, the homie, he's all like, oh, look at this Hellcat. And it's on slicks. Ciao. Hold up. Dude, this thing is nice. Like it's on the 4 stars. Nice little quiet Hellcat. I like that. Anyways, so we're at In-N-Out, and the homie Julian is like, oh dude, I left my hat at the homie's house. And I'm like, all right, we'll just go back, like we're not that far. So I go on Instagram, text the homie Rocco, which is the actual kid, not the other kid that had posted on his story, but the actual kid that like did the trade with this Surron. I was like, yo, Rocco, we're gonna go back right now for the homie's hat. And he was like, all right, bet, I'll meet you here. So Rocco's little like neighborhood community, you had to go through a gate because it was kind of like private in a way. And so we pull up to the gate, and as we're pulling up on the homie's truck, there's like a sheriff that's like right there, right? And the entrance is right there. The sheriff is like posted up. So we go in, and literally, I kid you not, Rocco is facing out, like about to leave. Like he's basically on the other side of the gate with his girlfriend on the back seat of the 150, and he's already ready to dip. Like he's gonna ride the 150 on the street while the sheriff is right there. And so we're like, bruh, are you kidding me? Go through the gate, and we get the hat, and we're like, yo, Rocco, there's literally a sheriff to the left of when you go out. Like, don't go left, you know? Like, we're like, bro, you're literally gonna get caught. And then literally his girlfriend, she's like, oh, babe, like, you can outrun those sheriffs, right? Like, you got it. Like, and then he was all like, yeah, babe, I got it. And he's like, nah, I got you. I'm just gonna go right. Dude, this kid goes out, literally, like, makes a right. Why does he do a U-turn? And like, basically, if this is the sheriff, right? He had made the U-turn. He just flies by the sheriff. Like, while me and the homie are just like watching the whole time, and we're like, what is this kid doing, bro? Like, he's literally about to get caught again. So whatever, like, we couldn't do much. Like, we weren't gonna follow him. Like, we had already made the trade. We ate, like, we were in San Diego. We had to go home. So that's what we did. We ended up going home. And that was that. We got home, and we're like, dang, dude, like, that was a crazy story. That kid was crazy. So fast forward the next morning, right? You're like, wow, it's literally like the story is still going. Yeah, still going. So it's the next morning, and literally I go to the gym, right? I'm at the gym, I'm doing my set, I'm lifting weights, and I get a call. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, you know, this is like from Newport. Like, that's like, or no, this is like from somewhere. From, I forgot what the name is called, but it was from somewhere that was like far, like San Diego. Oh, it was like Escondido, I think. And I was like, what the, that's like near San Diego, you know? Like, so whatever, I didn't answer. And then literally again, they called again, and I was like, wait, like, I was just in San Diego yesterday. Like, there's no way that this is like a coincidence. So I pick up the phone, and it's literally Rocco, the kid's mom. He calls me, or she, sorry, the kid's mom, she calls me, and she's like, hey, this is so-and-so. You know, I'm Rocco's mom from yesterday, and I just wanted to call you because something happened. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this kid literally killed himself. Like, you know, like, I was like thinking the worst. And so she's like, yeah, actually, last night, I guess Rocco was out riding the dirt bike, and since he's on house arrest, they waited till he got home, and at like 12 in the morning, they came and knocked on the door, and they took him. And I was like, why? What happened? And she was like, well, he was riding, so they tracked that he wasn't home, and even though he said he wasn't riding, they took him. He's back in juvie. And since then, I kid you not, he is still in juvie. Rocco is literally in juvie right now, like, literally. And I don't know if you could say it's because of me, but essentially I did the trade with him, and because of the 150, I mean, he's back in jail because he was riding, which is not my fault. Like, you know, he was on house arrest. He should have known. But yeah, basically, like, that kid is in juvie still. And that kind of concludes the story. I mean, when I was on the phone, I told the mom, I was like, you know, I'm so sorry. It was the next day. Like, what was I going to tell her, you know? It was the next day, and I was like, you know, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I was just trying to do the trade. Is there anything that I can do, you know? And she was like super like understanding about it. Obviously, like, I didn't do anything, so she wasn't mad at me, but she was just calling because she was like, oh, I just want to call because I want you and your friends to know that I'm not crazy. I probably seemed like a crazy mom yesterday, the way that I was yelling and, you know, telling Rocco no, but he's a crazy kid and I just want the best for him and this and that. And I was like, no, yeah, like, you know, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt super bad. So I was like, you know, is there anything I could do? And she was like, no. And I was like, if you want, you know, we could do the trade back. Cause I felt super bad, you know? I was like, we can do the trade back. And, you know, I haven't done anything yet to the Surron. Like, it'll just be like as if nothing happened. And then she was just like, no. Like, that's okay. Like, you know, keep the Surron, like this and that. And I was like, all right. And so yeah, that was like pretty much the story of the Surron. The kid is still, and yes, this is the same Surron. This is actually wrapped. I plan on wrapping the rest of the Surron this color right here, because right now it was previously wrapped in this lighter pink, and I just had it for a long time, so I'm changing it right now. But yeah, that's the story of this Surron right here and how I got it for $0. Put maybe like $300 into it, like for little parts here and there. I replaced the forks because his homie, the one that originally posted it, that it was like for sale and trying to, you know, get traded or whatever, he gave me those forks and a couple other things, like cosmetic really. But yeah, that's the story about how I got this Surron. We left the house with 80%. Right now we're at 70%, so actually not too bad. Let's try to do a couple of wheelies if we can. That was not bad actually for the first one. Oh, that was good. So that ends the first official POV video with the Surron. I hope you guys enjoyed this long form content. Let me know if you guys want to hear like more stories or something. I don't know, maybe I'll do like a story series on the Surron. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.